Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee, and this is Randy, and we're here at Frederick County Animal Control and Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue, bringing you some adoptable pets that will make a great addition to your home now or any time of year. Sometimes people ask about Christmas adoptions or holiday adoptions of any kind, and there are two things to think about. If you're going to be traveling and busy, oh, for goodness sake, don't get a pet at this time of year. Wait until after. But a lot of people take some vacation this time of year, and that means if you're going to be home and available, it can be the perfect time to introduce a new puppy when you have time to do house training and crate training for a couple hours every day. This is Spring, and Spring is a special case here at the animal shelter. And the reason is because you won't even see it now because the problem is solved. When Spring came to us as a stray puppy about a month ago, she guarded her food from us. She would growl over the food. Now, part of that is because she was really hungry and she didn't understand that she's going to get food twice a day, every single day, no matter what. So some of the resolution of her guarding food went away as soon as she realized that we feed her every day. But some of it went away because our kennel manager and animal care technicians worked diligently with her to show her that people touching and handling your food means that you're going to get more treats, not less. No one's going to take it away. So now she has a great attitude. Now, additionally, because she was such a young puppy when she came here and she came as a stray, she didn't have any manners. So she would jump on people. She didn't know how to sit when you asked her to. She was overexcited, getting attention because she had missed out on some. So now that she's had a regular schedule and experienced caretakers, she's a great puppy. But because of what we know about her early upbringing, meaning it's possible she didn't have much direction, we want to place her in a home with someone who doesn't have small children and who has dog experience. And I think she's going to make someone a great pet. We don't know what kind of dog she is because we found her as a stray. We're saying that she could be part pit bull just to protect her from any persons who can't have part pit bulls because of their landlords. But this curly tail is not pittish, and her wrinkly skin is not pittish, but we don't do DNA testing here, so we don't know what she is. But as you can see, she quickly sits when Randy asks her. She learned that very easily. She trades the toy. She likes to play tug of war. She'll stop as soon as you stop. When yesterday I took her out in the play yard and played with her while someone visited with her, and she definitely comes to people who say her name. She wants to be with people, but she still jumps on people, so that needs to be worked on. And she's only 5 months old, so that is something that she will learn. I would strongly recommend working with a dog trainer if you take her home. Even if you're experienced, I have a dog trainer for myself and my dogs, and I think it's a great idea. It's like having a teacher. Yeah, and Randy's saying for any puppy, even if your puppy is golden and wonderful and easy, it's just great to have the advice of someone who's an expert. So if you are up for the challenge of a puppy and you have the right situation for Spring, then please come in and meet her. We don't keep her on the regular adoption floor because we don't want her practicing leaping at the cage door and getting rewarded for that by people stopping and saying hi to her. So she, and Randy is noticing now, she likes to use her mouth and play, as most puppies do, but we want to make sure that she understands there's all kinds of options for toys and sitting and getting attention. Yes, leash. Don't worry, we're not going to teach her that. So if you think that Spring would make a good addition to your family, then please let us know. And again, we want a special home for her without small children with someone who's trained dogs before. Our next guest is Shadow. And you met Shadow last week, and he is still here. I think that's because he's 7 to 9 years old, and I said that he was going to need a dental. And we had Uniting to Save Animals is a charity in Frederick that helps animals in Frederick very generously, and paid for his dental, arranged for it to be done with the help of our kennel manager, and he is ready. His teeth that are remaining are shiny and pearly white, and this is the wonderful side effect of doing the care before you take him to their new home, is that when he first came, he seemed a little shy, and now that his teeth are cleaned and that he's been treated for the discomfort in his mouth, all the shyness is gone. Now, obviously, part of that is because he knows us now, but part of it too is he was probably in a little bit of pain, and that's all been taken care of, and he is ready to go to his new home. In fact, last night, while I was making the list for animals to be on TV, a family came and visited with him for quite some time. So I'm thinking that they are interested in adopting him, and so he may have a home after all. But I wanted to bring him on again just to let you know about Uniting to Save Animals, and also to let you see the work that we can do with dogs like Spring or dogs like Shadow when people are overwhelmed by their situation. As in Shadow's case, remember the people got him from Craigslist, and when they found out he was going to need expensive dental work, they didn't feel that they could keep him. And dogs like Spring, who are found stray and untrained. So it's a great thing that we can do. I wish we could do it for every animal that needed help, but through the generous support of other groups in the county and our volunteers and people who donate supplies to us, and veterinarians in the community who give us discounts and offer to help us, and of course our own staff veterinarian who makes sure that all of the animals who come here get a good checkup and we know what they need. We are able to do more and more every year, so we really appreciate the support from all of you. And hopefully I will have good news for you about Shadow, and he'll be going to a new home shortly if the family that came in last night has decided that he's the one for them. We are back with Addie, also called Monkey, and she is a beautiful blue pit, female, and she's 2 years old. She has a heart murmur. It's not a significant one. I think they said it's a grade 2 out of 5, and that means 5 being the worst. It's at a 2. But it is something to consider when you get a dog. I can't think of anything, if that doesn't change, that she would need, that any good girl, that any other dog wouldn't need. But you would definitely want to have your vet's opinion on that. And she is quite healthy looking, active, friendly. But you can see she's a little shy. The little raising of one paw, that's a little deferent and nervous. She is keeping her head low, wagging her tail low. So she's got a lot of polite people skills. She also has a little mark on top of her nose that looks like she was trying to push under her cage door because she does like to be with people. And obviously, in case you did not notice, Addie is probably all pit bull. She is a very typical and desirable color. She has a beautiful coat and body shape, and again, with the great personality. I mean, she's so polite. She probably will jump up on people when she knows them well and if they encourage it, but she doesn't offer that to strangers. She's not rude, she's not boisterous, but of course she has lots of energy and is gonna make someone a great addition to their family. You just need to be aware that some landlords have restrictions against bully breeds, and that you want to make sure that either you own your own home and always will, or that you take efforts to make sure you can keep her. And the way you can do that is, first of all, take her to an obedience class or get a trainer to help you, get her to pass her CGC. The American Kennel Club has a designation called CGC, and that is for companion dogs. And what they do is they have her walk on a leash past another dog with somebody with floppy clown shoes and an umbrella. They certify that she can do the normal things that dogs do walking down the street without overreacting. So if you are interested in Addie, otherwise called Monkey, then please consider coming by and meeting her, because I think that will make all the difference. She's a good girl. Our next guest is Sydney, and Sydney is an Australian cattle dog, quite beautiful. He's got little tan markings among his black and white markings, and typical color for a cattle dog. And he's pretty mellow for a cattle dog. And one of the reasons that that's important is because these are working dogs. They are made to manage a herd of cattle or more than one herd of cattle. They can work with, if trained, a rider on horseback to manage large numbers of livestock on huge properties. So it's very important that you know that when you get a cattle dog, because they need to have important work. And one of the ways you can provide that is with something called scent work. And that is where you hide treats and have them find them and make the hiding spaces harder and harder to discern. That helps dogs use their brain and get some exercise. And it will be important for him to do things that are good for his brain and good for his body. And he's a little shy, and that is normal. Australian cattle dogs generally are wary of strangers, and that makes them good watchdogs. But we are, of course, strangers to him. So Randy is asking him to sit for a treat, but I think if he knew it, he would probably do it. But one of the things in dog training that we often overlook is that dogs don't generalize well. And what that means is if I consistently ask my dog to sit by the kitchen door when I am standing facing her, good dog, next to the cookie jar, then that's what my dog knows. All of those things are part of the sit command. And then I go over to a friend's house and I expect my dog to sit in a strange place in front of a bunch of strangers when I'm not near the cookie jar, and they don't do it. And a lot of times we believe that the dog is being disobedient because we say, well, he knows how to sit, he just won't do it. But that's false. Dogs learn the cue that you're giving them, including all the context that you're giving them. So if you repeatedly give it in the same place in the same way, they think that's part of it. So if you want to teach your dog a verbal cue, a word, you need to do it in all kinds of different places. So Sydney, as you saw, when Randy asked him to sit the second time, he had no problem. So whatever it was about the first Randy standing might have been too hard for him, or just that he was nervous in this room and not really paying attention. So I don't know if you can tell how small he is. Cattle dogs are not big dogs. They're big in energy and they're big in work and they're able to take on cows and herds of cows. But they are small, agile, athletic dogs. And particularly for Australian cattle dogs, they haven't been accepted by the American Kennel Club for showing for very long. So the importance to the breeders of Australian cattle dogs is that they can do their work and that they're put together well and that they're healthy for work for their lifetime. They also happen to be a long-lived breed. I think one of the record-holding dogs in Ripley's Believe It or Not was an Australian cattle dog that was a ridiculous age. I know over 20, and I'm thinking possibly over 30 years old. So not promising you that Sydney can give you that kind of time, but he is less than a year old. So if you are thinking of getting an Australian cattle dog, make sure you know where you're going to be in 15 years because he'll be with you. We are going to be back after a short break with some adoptable cats, and I hope you join us.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
We are back at Pet Pals, and we are bringing you some adoptable cats from Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. And this little kitten is named Joy, and she is remarkable looking. I've been working with cats and dogs professionally since 1977, and I have never seen a cat this color. First of all, she has long hair on part of her body and short hair on the other part of her body, including some of her whiskers are short. That might just be from kittens playing with each other and nibbling them off. but she is primarily black, but on her back she has this big long-haired gray patch and her feet are white. So she's remarkable looking is the point. And because she's a lovely, normal, friendly kitten, that may help her get adopted because we have a number of kittens in the shelter, and sometimes it's hard for people to decide when they come in which one they want. And so I will not be surprised if she is adopted quite quickly. And I don't know if you can do this, Randy, but will she let you like hold her up so people can see the strangeness of her color? And I'll get this toy back in case she wants it. But I don't know if you can see that, but we, smoke cats, a color called smoke, is white fur or gray fur that has black tips on each hair, and she's not that. So we made up reverse smoke as a color for her because her hair is black on the underside and then gray on the tips. So she's just an unusual color and unusual appearance to her. She does have siblings if you were interested in getting more than one kitten. Sometimes it works out to get kittens from the same litter that are accustomed to each other and play well together. But as I have said many times on the show, when they're 9 or 10 months old, they usually want their own space anyway. So don't feel bad if you just want one kitten and you separate a litter. That's nature's way, that they would be separated when they're adolescent anyway. She is friendly and very playful in her cage. Randy said she looks like a skunk. So she has little white tufts of hair on the side of her head. She's just unusual looking. And for me, that's always a surprise because sometimes I feel like I've seen every cat color that there could possibly be. If you think that Smoke would make a nice addition to your family, or you think someone that you know might be interested in her, let us know. And obviously, I'm interested in her unusual appearance, but that's not even important. For all I know, she's going to grow up to be a plain black cat. That absolutely can happen. And what's more important is that someone loves her for her outgoing, playful personality and wants to spend a lot of time getting to know her and entertaining her until she is a grown-up, and then she can entertain you and hang out with you. If you think you know someone that might just be interested in her appearance, share her picture on Pet Finder. Sometimes that draws people to go to our page on Pet Finder and click on other animals and find someone they want to adopt. And it always helps us out when you share our Facebook page or Pet Finder links so that people know we're here. We are back with Dora, and Dora is a tiny kitten. She is dark brown tabby and white, and very pretty. And I don't know if you can tell, but she's starting to knead on Randy's legs, and that some people call that making biscuits. It's an affectionate behavior of cats, shows that they are affectionate with people. So she is a lovely little kitten. And I do want to let you know, if you're thinking about getting a kitten for Christmas, you need to hurry because number one, we don't have very many left, and number two, more kittens are not usually born between now and Christmas, and the reason for that is that about 80% of pet cats are spayed and neutered. So the kittens are coming from either a loosely owned or a barn cat population, and those cats tend to not produce kittens in the winter, and on the rare occasion when they do, sometimes the kittens don't survive. So people don't find them and rescue them and bring them to the shelter. So in the winter, we don't see as many kittens for a variety of reasons. Now, of course, if you want to get a kitten for someone as a gift, there's a couple of cautions. Number one, never choose a live animal for someone else. It's very unique what people are drawn to when they choose a pet. Not just the appearance and the personality, but the whole package. So people really have to pick their own family member. You can imagine it, if you buy a pet for someone, it's kind of like a mail order bride because you're picking without any knowledge of whether there's chemistry or a match or whether they're well suited for each other. But what you can do is a gift certificate. If you know that you want to help someone to get a pet, then take some pictures on Pet Finder, make a little card, make a stocking stuffer or wrap it as a gift under the tree, and then during what we call kitten season, from April to October, come to the shelter with them and pick out the perfect match. When you know that a cat is going to be around for 12 to 18 years, and some cats live to be 20, although that's rare, you really want to make sure you take your time finding the right one, and it's well worth it. Now, I imagine that anyone who had this little girl dropped off at their house would fall in love, but there's also the issue of allergies and vacation time. So if someone is not in having a schedule right now that would allow them to take care of a kitten, it can be bad timing, but also it's possible to be allergic to one kitten and not others. So it is really important to meet your family member pets before you take them home and make sure the match is great. This little kitten is doing a great job without anything I could say, letting you see how great she would be to take home. So if you know somebody who wants a kitten, maybe Dora's the perfect one. We are back with Smokey, and Smokey is a big blue short-haired male cat. He's about 4 years old. He was born in April, if that helps you make a choice. Sometimes it's just a tiny thing that draws you in and makes you look further. And Smokey is quite friendly. When we were going to have him on the TV show a couple episodes back, and he can be shy in his cage. He likes to go under his hammock, and we have a scratching post in there that's S-shaped. He goes under that. So it's important to know that when you're choosing the cat that you might take home, that he's not going to be the kind of cat that if you have a big party, he wants to come out and be in the middle of it and play with people. He'll probably like go under the bed or something like that. So it's important for you to know about the tendencies of a cat before you adopt to make sure they fit in. But I can tell you, no matter what I tell you about any cat, once they become yours and once they live in your home, they can blossom, become completely different than they were here at the shelter. I have a neighbor who has taken in not one, but 2 feral cats. The first time, I assured her that it wouldn't be possible to make the cat friendly with strangers, but she could teach the cat to accept her, blah, blah, blah. Polly walks all over me when I go over there, so I was wrong. So then she found another feral cat that was much older, and I said, for sure, this one is going to have a harder time adjusting than Polly. And while it did take longer, this new orange cat is just friendly and outgoing and now is living in their office. I have to tell you, even though we may say there are some cats that are hard to tame, if you're dedicated and you put the time in, no one can tell you what can or can't be. What we're trying to do is not give you false hopes that a shy cat can be an outgoing cat when that may not happen. You have to love them as is, choose them as is when you take them home, and sometimes you get a lot more out of it than you thought you were going to get. And that is often something you don't have a lot of control over. So yeah, somebody was in the hallway, and Smokey said that is scary because they might come in here and he doesn't know who they are. So you can see how quickly he decided Randy was safe, because now he's using Randy to protect himself from other strangers. So if you think that he would make a nice addition to your household, then please let us know. He's very, very beautiful, and he has been here a little bit of time. So that means we like to give him a little exposure and make sure that if there is someone interested in him, that they can find out he's here. This is Tippy, and Tippy has a roommate who she is bonded with who looks a lot like Smokey, and Tippy's roommate's name is Vanilla. So we would like to get Tippy and Vanilla adopted together. And since you just met Smokey, that's very similar to what Vanilla looks like. And now you can see her sister, Tippy. And they're a little, Vanilla and Tippy are like Smokey in that they are a little shy. Obviously, you can see she likes people. She's perfectly willing to run around this room and check things out. There's some bunnies in here. So she's not scared. It is very hard to explain cat personalities to people from a description of words. That's why these videos are so great, is because you can see them interacting with Randy, and you can see them as we put them on the spot, what they can do. But the nature of cats in general is that they're very aware they can survive without friends. They can feed themselves, they can find shelter, they can get out of a jam without any help. In fact, a lot of times cats don't want people to help them if they feel like they're in a jam. They kind of act like we might make it worse. Horses can be like that too. In a way, that makes them quite different from dogs because dogs inherently know that if they don't have friends, they won't survive. So they're a lot more open to accepting help. In any event, what that means is that when cats like Tippy and Vanilla come to a strange place, their first instinct is to just wall off and check things out before they make friends. So when we go in the back, take them out of the cage, put them in a carrier, bring them to a strange room, show them to a camera, you can really see how they handle stress. And as you can tell, Tippy's doing a pretty good job. She's not worried about it, she's not worried about Randy, and she really does want to walk around this room and check things out. So if you think that confidence is what you're looking for in a kitty, then Tippy might be a good choice for you. And if you're not sure, then come and meet her and her sister Vanilla, because Vanilla is more reticent and careful, and they make a great pair. We are back with Pretzel. And Pretzel's a very special kitty because she has spent a lot of time with us. We get 1,200 kittens every year between April and October, or close to that. And many of them come to us with their mom. And this little kitty, Pretzel, had a litter. She was a great mom. She had a pretty big litter. And she went into foster care with one of our full-time employees, Kayla. And Kayla is available at our front desk most days. If you are interested in Pretzel, you could ask her so many questions about what she's used to, what her personality is like. But I will tell you that whenever we take on a mom and kittens, we get to know so much about them because we watch them raise their family, we hear from the foster homes about their likes and dislikes. But most importantly, the foster moms, the foster caretakers, follow their adoption very, very closely. So when they bring them back to the shelter, they often bring them with toys that they like, stories, they make posters for their outside of their cage so you can get to know them. They're available for you to ask questions. And this little kitty has really gotten under Kayla's skin and into her heart, and she cares very much about the family that she gets, as all of our foster care providers do. So she would be happy to give you lots of information about Pretzel and all her babies and how they grew up. And it's a nice thing when you adopt a cat and you know a lot about their past. We do it for all of our cats that are relinquished. We ask the owners lots of questions and we share with you all the answers. But Pretzel is ready now to be adopted now that she has weaned her kittens. And I think she's going to make someone a great cat, not only because she happens to be very nice and have a lot of experience, but because we can tell you so much about her, and because Kayla has veterinary assistance experience, she has shelter experience and animal care experience, so it makes her stories about Pretzel very valuable to you if you are trying to decide which cat to get. And it always helps us when you share this episode of Pet Pals, or if you go to petfinder.com, look up one of the pets you saw today and share them on social networking sites. Really, again, thank you for all of your support. Merry Christmas. If you're not inviting a pet into your home this time of year, think about coming and signing up for our volunteer program so that you can help other people do it. And thank you for joining us. And Randy and I will see you next time with whoever is in the shelter at that time. We hope you join us then.